Well, hello friends. It's been about 10 days since we've fed our urban worm bag, and you can tell the temperatures here in Florida are hot. So the puppies are inside. I do have potentially an idea. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we'll find out. So here's where we're at. We have lots of shredded, well, Wally shredded these with me. He ripped some of them up. You can see the smaller pieces he helped with. We have shredded cardboard, paper bags, regular paper, I mean all sorts of stuff in here. And I have a ton of food, and I can put, most of this is berries, bananas, watermelon. I even let this sit on the counter and lose some of the watermelon juices, dumped it out. So we don't have a lot of, well, I want to say we don't have a lot of extreme moisture. We have a lot of food. And I'm kind of wondering, so I always have the option to put extra food and, browns or whatever out in our tumbler on the side of the house. That's always an option. I can get rid of the food, but I had an idea. If we're opening and closing this constantly, trying to feed and do things, assuming they're eating, which is going to be a big if they've eaten their watermelon, can we feed them all this food and let them sit longer so we're not opening and closing the bag as much? I don't know. Trying to save as much camera off time as I can because it is very hot and I know my phone's gonna overheat. So we're opening this up. A little condensation here. Oops, forgot to unzip it away. I mean, immediately you can tell that there's definitely some gnats. It looks like making a run for it. I'm sure you guys can tell on the screen, or I'm pretty sure you can. So, not terribly surprising. Mites, yep, obviously they're there, and that's fine. They're always going to be part of the ecosystem, but let's take the phone off and look at the perimeter really quick. While we do have some obvious activity, there's these little red mites, and these were the ones that were crazy terrible over here. Now there's these other mite-like things. I am assuming that that is partially just Florida, being Florida. Yeah, we can see some of them on here. There's a lot of different things in here. It's hot. It's humid. Ooh. Yeah, we got a lot of, ooh, look at all that. All right, well, given how much crawling I'm seeing, let's see how much food is going, because if they're eating the food, that's different. So let's see. I believe we fed over here last. Oh yeah. Well, all right, there's everybody. Let me see if we can. All right, so we got a little bit of just the rind edges, it looks like, which still counts. I don't want to scoop too hard here. Interesting. They're making really good progress. So here's what I'm thinking. Since we have a lot of worms over here already, right? Let's go crazy. Let's try and do a watermelon. So this is the equivalent of what they got about a week and a half ago. And then let's do an extra bucket. And then we're gonna say maybe wait 2 weeks and see if they can finish all of this food up. I don't know. We're not a lot of betting. Definitely a lot of betting. But let's see what makes sense. But to be clear, while we're doing this, my thought was, if we can manage the food, like there's obviously the worms are getting to the food, not the bugs per se. So it's really the moisture, I'm assuming, that we're having a problem with. And it's, there's only so much I could do about that in the Florida heat. But what if we put a lot of food in here, like a lot of food, and then let it sit for a little while, give it a little extra time? What would happen? So let's find out. We're gonna stack this up nice and tall, because I think, given that we're pretty much at a year right now with this bin, I feel like we need to be processing a little bit more. And I kind of feel like when I went back and looked at my notes, kind of felt like we were holding back some of the food that we could be giving them, just for whatever reason. So this one has a lot of banana peels in it, some basil, some amaranth, So still stuff that's going to break down really quick and easy for them. And now here is where I don't want to skimp, but yeah, you know, should I add this? Should I add this? Let's see. I mean, you know what? We're here. Let's see how long it takes them to break this stuff down. This is either a terrible idea or a genius idea. It'll go, well, I'll tell you in a few weeks. There is a lot. This one's been sitting longer. So apparently there's some eggshells in there, so that's good. They'll break down much slower, but nevertheless, they'll help the compost. So this is a lot of food. Probably a terrible idea. But, you know, we've already got a lot of bugs in the bin. So might not be the worst thing. I don't know. I don't know. Let me get my big paper bag. So I don't want to put these on top of the food. I want the really fine shredded stuff so it will cover everything and it will sink in. So I am kind of pushing it down in this instance because I know this is going to be crazy. But you know, we just filled this bin up a couple weeks ago, and I mean, it's already shrinking and compressing down and everything, so I'm not really worried about overfilling it. Now, you can see a little bit over here where the tissues are. Okay, well, I wasn't going to add all that, but it's still not the worst thing ever. So yeah, even if I push on this a little bit, it all goes down, so it's not too worried. So this is hopefully going to help us with two things. This is going to help us manage the moisture levels, so yay. And two, this is going to help make it harder for at least the flying bugs to get back up and out. So what happens is, in theory, all of this kind of shredded paper, cardboard, everything creates a layer that once they are able to fly, the gnats can't really navigate and get out, so they kind of like can start and end their life cycle below this layer. Will that really make a difference with, you know, all the food we just put in? I don't know. But I feel like for our pretty much 1 year urban worm bag experience, we should try bigger feeding and see what happens. See how long we can leave this, especially in these warmer months. So I'll keep an eye on the moisture levels, but it's so humid here. It really just depends on what day of the week it is, I think. So, what do you think? Should we check in a week just to see how it's doing? Just go crazy, see if it's okay, or should we leave it closed? Let me know what you guys think. I think 2 weeks. But then I want to see. I don't know. It'll be a surprise. It'll be a surprise. All right, friends. I'm going to go inside because it's hot. It's hot. Let me know if you think this was a good idea, bad idea, what you would do when you check on it. Because I'm not really sure. I guess we just wait and see. All right, bye, friends.